Nagy, along with trades instructor Derrick Crum. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So early congratulations to you. We'll get things started right away. You were honored last week.
Yes.
Congratulations. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, well, someone seemed to think that I was doing a really good job and nominated me for a Professional Excellence Award, which I truly appreciate, this guy here.
Yeah,
Nice.
so Noah, speak a little bit about Derrick and really why he was honored.
Yep. So, Derrick's in our education department at the Cotton facility, and as everybody knows, we've been dealing with this pandemic for several years now, and there was times where we had to kind of slow things down in the education department, and it didn't stop Derrick from continuing to contribute to our team, whether it was COVID vaccines, COVID testing. Working in our food service, wherever it was needed, he stepped up and was helping. But in addition to that, he was still being proactive with our education and making sure that our population was getting what they needed. Whether it was, figuring out ways to get guys GED tested, using small numbers to cohort just to, prevent any issues with COVID. But also then, he came to me and wanted to play motivational videos for our population.
Nice.
And the amount of individuals that came up to me during this time to say, hey, thanks for letting Mr. Crum do this. Thanks for Mr. Crum, is making a difference. And it did have an impact on our population and, for the better. And then this is now expanded to the point where we have in our department a statewide team looking at this and looking at it, doing it at other institutions. But
Nice.
it was his foresight and leadership and willingness just to care for folks during this time that had a huge impact. And he's been a mentor to both our population, our staff. I mean, everybody sees the way he carries himself and sets an example for all of us to follow. And, so he was very deserving, and you can see photos here from our banquet.
Yeah, who do we have here, Noah?
So we have the first officer on the left there is James Sims Neely. He was actually the 2020 State Corrections Officer of the Year. He was our JCF Officer of the Year, but he
Awesome.
also won 2020 State Corrections Officer of the Year. You see Mr. Crum there, who won a Professional Excellence Award. The next officer, Officer Hawkins, actually sang the national anthem at the banquet last week.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. And she's also an officer at Cotton, and you can see a photo of her singing the national anthem right there. And there was about, I don't know exactly, if I'm guessing, there's probably 400 people. It was
Nice.
a great turnout.
Wow.
It was at the Lansing Center, and we had a great turnout. It was great to see everybody. It was the first banquet we had in 3 years, so it was awesome to be able to celebrate the staff. And then we also, Officer Joseph, who we had on the show about 3 months ago, you can see Officer Joseph there. He was our 2020 Corrections Officer of the Year. We also have RN Roach, and then Officer Nugent, and then Deputy Warden Jarrett, and our MDOC Director Heidi Washington also in that photo. So we had a great turnout from the Cotton facility, well represented.
Jarrett
and
looks better in the suit than the
Referee?
referee's stripes. I'll tell you that right now.
I'll look at
Yeah. And then there's Principal Bright to the left, also up there supporting Derrick for winning his award. So again, I mean, it was a proud moment for us, as a department, but also, Cotton facility. We've always talked about the great staff we have, and was well represented at the banquet. So
Yeah, it's one
very
thing.
exciting.
It's
Yeah.
one thing to talk about it. I mean, but you've really shown us.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys do have a wonderful staff, and you have people that are making a difference.
Yeah.
And in corrections in your line of work, I mean, that really has to happen.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, Derrick understands that, and Derrick's worked in public schools in Albion and understands how important that is to continue to create opportunities for guys to get better. And he's always looking for the next level of how do I give a guy an opportunity to get better, and he continues to do that. And, it spreads. Maybe people see that and they want to follow that because they see the impact he has. That's
Are you
awesome.
blushing yet?
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm sitting over here like, wow, he's making me almost seem like I walk on water.
Now, Noah's one of the things Noah, told us about you is you love to help people. You always have loved to help people. Where does that passion come from?
You know what? I honestly think that it's just I'm wired like that.
Yeah.
Came from a loving home, and so that probably helped to create who I am today. And so I enjoy helping people.
Yeah, talk about your career a little bit and some of the different positions you've had. You've worked with kids to adults. You've worked in, obviously in the high school setting as an administrator. Just talk about your experiences and kind of how they really help you today.
Okay. How much time do we have?
A lot of time.
So, when I look back on my experiences, and probably the very first one that really helped to develop who I am would be working for Star Commonwealth.
Okay.
So back when they had a detention facility for juvenile delinquents, and so I really learned a lot about myself in that particular role while I'm helping those young men understand some of the things that's going on with them. Moved on and eventually landed a position with Albion Public Schools. Started off as it was a REACH program. It was an in-school suspension program, and so the students that were suspended from school would come to me, and we would try to get them together and get them back in school. And from there, people saw something good in me, and they elevated me from that position to an administrative assistant, to assistant principal, to principal.
Wow.
And yeah, so it kind of took off. And then let's see, from there, I tried my hand at higher education. So I was with Jackson College. I actually was your dad did an interview with me for Jobs for Michigan's Graduates.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a grant program with Jackson College. And then from there, got my position at the prison. And to be honest with you, before I started working there, I had a perspective about inmates,
right.
And what I would see and how I would interact with them. But when I got there, it was totally different.
Yeah.
The guys, there are some who will struggle tremendously, but then there's a lot of the guys genuinely want to do better. They want to better themselves. They want to be better. And so I just kind of took it and ran with it. I wanted to provide as many opportunities as I can for them. My primary role is a employment readiness instructor. And so when the guys get ready to parole and go home, they come to my classroom and we teach them a little bit about computers. We teach them a little bit about finances. We help them, we teach them how to interview.
Nice.
Yeah, and so we try to prep them as much as we can to get them out and be successful at seeking, securing, and sustaining employment.
Yeah. And that's not easy. It's
not.
not easy. There's a perception that it's if you're a felon, it's going to be more difficult to get a job. But there are great employers out there. It's just finding the right one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No,
I was just going to say, and I also make sure that they understand, because back in the 80s and 90s, it was really tough for an ex-felon to get a career, a job.
Yeah.
But today it's much different,
Yeah,
much different.
Yeah.
They not only want to hire, or not only will hire ex-offenders, they want to hire them.
That's good.
There's some tax breaks that employers get for hiring ex-offenders.
Oh, nice.
There's some fidelity bonding, and so the opportunity is a lot better nowadays.
Very cool.
So it sounds like such a rewarding career that you've had, helping people along the way, but not without adversity. We talked about COVID. How did you kind of mentally compartmentalize and reset to be such a force for positive in such a negative time?
Well, I needed it for myself to begin with, and I figure if I need motivation and if I need inspiration during this time, then they certainly need it. And so what I did was, there are some motivational videos that inspire me, that just kind of uplift me to continue to go. And so I use those videos to inspire the population.
Nice.
Yeah, you probably never thought you'd be doing COVID tests and vaccines, but it was really an all hands on deck. Talk about kind of how maybe the staff kind of got together and maybe got to know each other a little bit better during those times.
So we, in the beginning, when COVID first hit, we needed to keep guys separate. We needed to make sure that we didn't have a major outbreak with the COVID. And so I was not running my classes because of that. And the state came in and we wanted to do testing, facility-wide testing, and they needed help. We initially had the Army Reserve.
Oh,
Yes, yes.
They initially came in and was doing the testing, and eventually they needed to be in other places, and so the staff had to step up and do the testing. And so when they needed help, I just say, hey, I can do it. I'll help out.
So usually when Noah's here, we're talking about career opportunities within the Cotton facility and corrections in general. This is such a great example of the career that you guys offer and how, the opportunity to grow and really contribute to the community. Are there still opportunities?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, we've been focusing on corrections officer a lot because that's our highest need in healthcare staff. But there's so many different opportunities within a facility. I mean, it really is a city within a city. And there's an example. I mean, we have a full education department. We have Jackson College. I mean, we have all these things going on. And Derrick's just an example of the many staff that are doing a lot of different things. And so we're very fortunate, and it is. I mean, there's a ton of different opportunities within the MDOC to learn and get different experiences. Whatever it is that you feel that you want to do, you have those opportunities. So.
We are going to take a quick break. We'll be back more with Noah Nagy and Derrick Crum right after this quick break.
My voice.
My passion.
My path.
My career.
Concord Community Schools. Our students shatter expectations.
Registration is now open for Jackson YMCA Summer Day Camp. The camp is about learning skills, developing character, and making friends. Every new experience at day camp is a chance for kids to stay active, address gaps in learning when school's not in session, and have fun. Open to ages 4 to 14. Sign up for just 1 week or all 10 at jacksonymca.org.
Best of Jackson Award winner Laughlin Slice of Spice invites you to experience the best pizza you've ever had. Pizzas, sandwiches, soups, salads, appetizers, all prepared fresh for lunch and dinner. Take out or dine in our comfortable, spacious, sparkling, family-oriented dining room. Choose from our extensive wine list or enjoy a frosty mug of cold beer. Superb service, fantastic award-winning cuisine. Taste the difference. Open late on Friday and Saturday, all day Sunday. Laughlin Slice of Spice in the Village Crossing Mall on M60, just 4 miles west of Lumen Christi.
The secret is out. Jackson is a great place to live, work, and raise a family. We are people with community pride, school spirit, and deep roots. The secret is out. Jackson has great parks, home to some of the best golf in the country, and boasts more lakes than you can count. With unique, locally owned shops and restaurants, we have a little something for everyone. Hey Jackson, the secret is out. The Heather Herndon team with Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, serving the Jackson community since 2005.
Welcome back. We're with Noah Nagy, who's the warden at the G. Robert Cotton Correction Facility, and we're with trades instructor Derrick Crum. Now, we've been talking over the past year about, like Jennifer said, getting into corrections and getting jobs in corrections, and you say, it's not just corrections officers, but you work with everyone. Talk a little bit about some of the roles that people have and maybe how you would encourage them to join a job in corrections.
So I think not knowing about the inside and how it works, people do not really understand that there's opportunities other than being a corrections officer. I just happened to stumble upon this trades instructor position and happy that I did. But we have, in our education department, we have academic teachers, we have teaching assistants. I proctor the GED testing. And so, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities just within the education department, but then there's others, food service. I mean, when he said city within a city, that's exactly what it is. And so if you think about what it takes to run a city, there's opportunities inside the facility for a position. Yeah.
Is the training intense?
Which one?
Well, I gotta believe there's like safety measures and like general practice training that's
and so for
different than most jobs.
Yeah, for me, trades instructor, there's an onboarding, and the onboarding we go through yearly computer-based training.
Okay.
And so it educates us on how we need to interact with the inmates and how to keep them safe and different things that we need to be observant of in terms of an officer. Now their training is a little different, and so they it's more intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say, Derrick, is most rewarding about your job?
Man, I really wish I had brought some. So in the, two things. So the academics, the kids, I call them kids, the inmates come over for school, and oftentimes in the morning I don't have students with me. They're all dispersed within the academic classrooms. And so they'll come and talk with me because they know I do the GED test, and they'll come and talk with me, and I'll find ways to encourage them, and they just kind of gravitate towards me. So that's really rewarding. But then the other thing that is so over the top is that when the motivational videos started to hit the facility, those guys would send me what we call them kites. They would write a letter to me, and they would let me know the impact that the videos were having on them. And they would talk about how it has helped to change their thinking, and they would even talk about how they see other guys changing, and they would also talk about having communication with their family members. And
Very
so,
cool.
there was one that I really wanted to read, but I forgot to bring it.
Yeah, it's very cool. And a lot of, people have families and they're missing their families and they want to get back and make things right with their family a lot of times, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I've heard you guys a couple times today, refer to the inmates as the population or the kids or the students, and I think sometimes we forget everybody makes mistakes, and some maybe a little more intense than others, but everybody deserves humanity and respect and opportunity to improve their lives and be better, and you guys are offering such a gift in that. How do you compartmentalize? Like, can you just leave it, or do you think about them when you go home and want to put together like strategic plans for each inmate or each person in the population?
For me, and probably for him as well, it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
I can't turn it on and turn it off, when I come in and when I leave.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking about the guys all the time and how I can better impact and bring opportunities to them. So the videos, I do that on my own time.
Yeah.
At home, I would look them up and I would download them and I would, convert them to a playable format.
Nice.
And so they're on my mind all the time.
So it sounds like we need to get you making these inspirational videos.
I think so.
Don't you think?
I would think so. I think it'd be a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah.
Now we can't have a Crum on without without talking track and field. You're proud uncle to some of Albion's best. Let's talk a little bit about that track family of yours.
Wow. Man.
So I didn't know you did not run track.
Did not run track, and I told you off the air I was a lazy one. So I played baseball, but my brother was an outstanding athlete. I mean, all around, basketball, football, track, and he has two sons and a daughter. I better not leave her out. Two sons who ran track and who excelled in track. One of them ran track at Michigan State University.
Wow.
Yeah. But in high school, both of them, we would come over to Jackson at the Selby meet, and we'd leave a name.
Dominate.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely leave our mark.
Yeah, no doubt. But great athletes and
And good kids.
yeah, great family as well. So I want to thank you both for
Thank you.
joining us. It was a pleasure having you both with us
Thank you.
today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Noah Nagy, Warden at the G. Robert Cotton Correction Facility, along with our good friend, trades instructor Derrick Crum. We'll be right back after this.